date a bus driver? You. Would you date?
If he owns the bus. If he owns it. If he owns the bus.
That's no.
Absolutely nothing wrong with driving a bus. My mother Gloria drove one for years. But could it be that Black America has been sold a narrative of average, regular, and typical being good enough for us?
Hello everyone, welcome to this edition of Viral. I'm your host as always, Kenny Dix here. Glad you can join us here on Viral to talk about Ebony K. Williams. Yes, Ebony K. Williams, the attorney, the griot host. She made some comments that many people felt that she was, getting heat for and stuff. We'll talk about that coming up. But first thing first, join in the conversation using the hashtag Viral here on Connect. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing. Talk about attorney and griot host Ebony K. Williams. Ebony K. Williams did her griot show, and she had Emmy-winning alumni actor Alumni Van Zandt. Alumni Van Zandt, more spiritual guidance person that likes to talk about spiritual things. Ebony K. Williams welcomed Ayanda, and Ayanda pointed out the question to Ebony K. Williams that many people got rocked by Ebony K. Williams' comments. Let's take a look at what she had to say.
Absolutely.
Would you date a bus driver? You. Would you date?
If he owns the bus. If he owns it. If he owns the bus.
That's a problem. That's a problem.
Okay.
Because the standards and requisites, and I'm not talking about him laying on his sofa playing video games all day. I'm not talking about that. But the standards and the criteria that we use to measure men is off for who we are as women and who they are in this society. I would date a bus driver if he loved driving the bus, if he was a man of integrity, if he was good to his mama, if he treated me well. Would you date a bus driver?
Ebony K. Williams said that she would not date the bus driver rather than she'll date the bus owner. And a lot of people got upset by Ebony K. Williams' comments, and Ebony K. Williams quickly went to the defensive, and here's what she had to say right here.
It's posted on social, I only saw a handful that even considered the possibility of a bus owner being a more aspirational position and recognizing that I am actually speaking and pouring into the ascension of Black men when I said what I said. But see, no, some of y'all were too busy naming and shaming me personally and Black women in general as undesirable, gold diggers, and much worse. Now, I suspect that some of y'all are the same men that were bringing home C's and D's on your report cards, only to then be coddled by parents that said, well, that's okay, as long as you're doing your best. Well, listen, I love and believe in the excellence of Black men. So no, my dear, C's and D's or any other form of mediocrity is not okay. No, I will not create a soft place for you or anybody that I love to fall comfortably into the bigotry of low expectations. So I'm going to say one more time. So out of the 50,000 plus comments, there's absolutely nothing wrong with driving a bus. My mother Gloria drove one for years. But could it be that Black America has been sold a narrative of average, regular, and typical being good enough for us? Well, see, that's called white supremacy. And in this case, it takes the form of conditioning Black Americans to happily accept being a permanent American underclass. But see, because I know the truth about Black folk in America, no, average is not and will never be good enough for me. And the gag is, I don't think it's good enough for you either. Fine.
Ebony K. Williams quickly went into the defenses. She continued on her own tour. She appeared on The Breakfast Club, and DJ Envy had questions about why did she didn't want to date the bus driver rather than the bus owner? And here's what her comments.
Class of Black America, of America broad, or Black men. I'm going to get to the why was my fiance. Envy, let me finish this statement.
Do you know
I'm going to get to
Just because
But
you
I
didn't
don't
mean to
deal
hurt
in
somebody,
feelings.
just
First
because
of all,
you didn't
I
mean to
don't
affect
deal.
somebody doesn't mean you didn't hurt a community.
I don't
can say
deal
anything
in
about somebody,
feelings.
be like, I didn't mean to hurt you. But if you hurt people, you hurt people. If people feel a way about you, they feel a way about you because those people that you talked about are the people that buy your books, that listen to this show, and they're hurt.
What about, Ebony, what about words like average, mediocrity, typical, and the bigotry of low expectations? I think those are the words that hurt the working class.
You can sit here and say, no, I didn't hurt nobody. You hurt people out there that buy your books and follow you and support you.
You asked me to be quiet.
Y'all,
Y'all, please. Y'all asked me to be quiet. I listened to your full statement. I understand you have a feeling about it.
22 minutes and I just spoke for 60 seconds.
Negative word about the working class of Black America, of America.
Here to talk to him.
I know, but I just spoke for 60 seconds.
We got ours off already. Let Ebony talk.
I'm just returning what she said.
Don't
act like I didn't let her speak. She spoke for 22 minutes.
Go ahead, Ebony. Let her talk. Don't do that. Let her go. Go ahead.
So, Envy, this is where we're different. My primary focus and goal when I do what I do in the world is not to protect feelings. I'm going to be candid with you. I understand it's clear from the energy that there is an emotional attack that you felt was on Black men, the working class, and Black America.
Here to talk to him.
I know, but I just spoke for 60 seconds.
We got ours off already. Let Ebony talk.
I'm just returning what she said. Don't act like I didn't let her speak. She spoke for 22 minutes.
Go ahead, Ebony. Let her talk. Don't do that. Let her go. Go ahead.
So, Envy, this is where we're different. My primary focus and goal when I do what I do in the world is not to protect feelings. I'm going to be candid with you. I understand it's clear from the energy that there is an emotional attack that you felt was on Black men, the working class, and Black America.
Here to talk to him.
I know, but I just spoke for 60 seconds.
We got ours off already. Let Ebony talk.
DJ Envy, I guess trying to raise concerns that Ebony K. Williams rather than the bus driver. But like I said, Ebony K. Williams has her own right to choose who she want to be with. We can't give her heat and we can't judge her because that's what she wants to be with. We know that Ebony K. Williams is a successful attorney, a successful lawyer, but hey, that's who she wants to be with. She wants to be with the bus driver. I mean, you can look at examples. I looked at examples like this. I looked at the Tyler Perry movie, Dad's Little Girls. If you can tell, there is a father with 3 kids that trying to fight custody for his daughters with his baby mama. And the attorney that represents him is a woman, and she was thinking the same way like Ebony K. Williams. But Ebony K. Williams, due time, Ebony K. The attorney had fallen in love with the single father, and she was blending into that family. So I think I look at that point, and then I look at the bus owner point. I look at both sides. Nothing wrong with either side, but it depends on what Ebony K. Williams decides and what she wants. She wants to be with the bus driver rather than the bus owner rather than the bus driver. That's by means that's her business. But society deemed her like, why won't you give the bus driver a chance rather than the bus owner? Like I said, maybe that's her preference. Who knows? But hey, it is what it is. All right, let's hear what you people had to say about Ebony K. Williams responding to stuff that she rather date the bus owner rather than the bus driver. Let's hear what you people had to say. You. Would you date
if he owns the bus?
Everybody's mad at Ebony K, but I agree with Iyanla. The issue is that she left out one very critical word. To paraphrase, she said that Ebony K's criteria was not aligning with the way women in society are viewed and the way men in society, the placement of men in society. She forgot the word Black. So if you add the word Black, that Ebony King's expectations were not in alignment with who she is in society as a Black woman and who Black men are in this society. And once you add that word, you understand exactly what it is that Iyanla was saying. If you want to catch a man and you're a Black woman in America, we're one of the most credentialed groups in America, you might have to lower your standards or you may decide to be by yourself. So Iyanla was right on that. But what I'm really tripping on is that everybody is all upset, but like Black men are just like confused as to why this Ebony K has these standards. But yet Black men get it. They get that men are supposed to be providers and that they're supposed to be the breadwinners, because as soon as they get into a position where they can do just that, they opt to go and do that and be that for non-Black women time and time again. So there's no confusion here. There's no confusion. There's anger at the audacity of Black women to say that we're no longer comfortable and are no longer going to accept the bare minimum. And then we actually will opt to be alone until we find somebody that meets our standards, or if not, we're fine with being alone. There may be anger there, but let's be clear. There's absolutely no confusion.
You're going for Black people, but
now, this is exactly why I said this is not a safe conversation for Black women. Ebony should have just said what she said on her platforms where she has complete control and let it rest. Because there's no way I'm allowing Charlemagne and Envy to chastise me about anything. It's just not going to happen. And I'm actually surprised that Ebony wasn't as prepared as I thought she would be for this conversation, because I was going to respond to her response to the video. And the bottom line is this: Black women, the numbers show that Black women are the breadwinners in a lot of marriages. That Black women marry men that make less money than them, more than any other group of women. A lot of Black women are happy to date bus drivers, any men with any sort of occupation. The numbers show it. We see it in real life. The only reason Black women are publicly met with this kind of questioning is because they want to shame a particular type of Black woman for not going with the norm. Pay attention to that. They want to shame a particular type of Black woman for not going with the norm, for saying that no, it's okay if other people do it. I have no problem with doing it, but me, this is what I need. This is what I want for my partner, from my partner, and from my relationship. And that is what Ebony's experiencing. And she should have just had the numbers to show this is not something widespread. This is not something that Black women need to be questioned about, because it's not happening in mass. If we're concerned about that, talk to other groups of women about it, because they are the ones that are mostly not dating men who make less money than them. But it's Black women that's met with this questioning. Now, I do want to caution, because I think sometimes when we have these conversations, it's so easy to divulge into conservative dogma and conservative talking points. And I think that was Ebony's biggest mistake. She used the term bigotry of low expectations, which is a direct talking point from George W. Bush. And we can have these conversations without ever going that route. It should have been what Ebony have stated from the beginning. And no one, absolutely no one, can challenge her on her personal desires and her personal preference. But she went this other route in this conversation, and that is where she's getting the backlash for, and I think she can learn something from that.
How do you...
So this is going to be like an unpopular opinion, and I don't care. Now, I know some people are up in arms about what Ebony K. Williams said. I totally get it, okay? I do agree that her response should have been probably vetted. You know what I'm saying? Because it did come across it came across. But what I just saw with her going on the Breakfast Club and her going back and forth with DJ Envy, too much. That's too much. Because that same platform, based off of his logic, is hypocritical. Because he's talking about how she offended people and that she doesn't have any remorse for how she hurt their feelings and stuff like that. Well, y'all have offended people too when it comes to the trans community, when it comes to the LGBTQIA community as a whole, when it comes, like, y'all have said some things that have been a little hurtful. But all of a sudden, when it's Ebony K. Williams or a Black woman, it's an issue. That's just what I see. Unpopular opinion or not, that's my observations. And so it frustrates me because it's like, at what point in time do we start defending our own? At what point in time do we start defending our queens? Because we dragged her for days. For days. For having an opinion. You can't force her to date a bus driver. You can't force anybody to date a bus driver. Now, whether I would date a bus driver or not is nobody's business, because I would. But that's not here nor there. That's not the point. My whole thing is this. It's her opinion. If she don't want to date a bus driver, she don't want to date a bus driver. This whole dragon, like, there's so much more important stuff in the world that's going on right now, and y'all are worrying about what the hell a former Real Housewives of New York star thinks about dating and who she dates.
Yeah. What is the difference between what Ebony K. Williams said and what Kevin Samuels been saying on his platform? Because whenever we talk about Kevin Samuels on here, men will come out the woodwork like, oh, he be talking the same thing to men that he do to women. Y'all just be mad. But have you not thought about if he was here today, he would definitely be agreeing with her? Because to his standards, a bus driver is definitely not a high-value man. That is not an alpha man. And you can't say that she's not a high-value woman according to his standards, you know. Slim, fit, pretty, successful. And that's how I know misogynoir is real. Because apparently when it come out of man mouth, it's, I'm going to shut up and just let you talk. When it's a black woman saying that, it's all you black bitch, you don't deserve it.
Upset that they felt like that you were putting down the average person, quote unquote, average job.
Ladies, that man will resent you. I'm so sorry to tell you this, but if you're earning, let's say, $500,000 a year, and you decide you're going to be with a bus driver who's maybe making $50,000 a year, he's going to resent you over time. Okay, and there's nothing you can do about it. And these men are going to tell you, oh, that's not true. It's the way you treat us. It's not true. You know, you could treat this man like a king, and he will still feel like you're acting like you're better than him. He's going to have so much resentment. Let me tell you why. So when you're making about $500,000 a year, $300 even, $250,000, $200,000 a year, and you're able to do certain things, right, that he cannot do. You can walk into rooms with other professionals that are making money the way you're making money. That may even include other men that's making money, okay? You're going to be able to go on lavish trips with your girlfriends and do amazing things that he knows was not funded by him. You know, if you guys get married or you get to a point where you're the one that bought the house and you're the one that bought the cars you guys drive in, he's going to feel some kind of way. And it shows up a lot, especially when you do things together. Like you want to do amazing things. You want to do lavish things that he cannot afford. So you're going to have to slip him money under the table. You're going to have to maybe even set up an account for him so that he can pretend to be the one that's spending the money. So he can feel like the man. Because at the end of the day, a man is supposed to be a provider and women are supposed to be provided for. Okay? And it does something to a man when he knows that he is not the provider. Even if he feels like, you know what, I'm going to just take this ride. You know, she's the one that's taking care of stuff. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. It's not true. Over time, it starts to have an effect on them, and it starts from within. You don't have to treat him bad. You don't have to treat him any kind of negative way. As a matter of fact, you can treat him like a king, and he'll struggle with that. The truth is that when you're making about $50,000 a year, the most your woman should make, if she makes more than you, is maybe $60,000, $75,000 a year. That's it. Okay? If you're making double the money he makes, oh God, it is going to show up in that relationship. Let me just tell you. Okay? Men are not meant to deal with stuff like that. Okay? It makes them feel inadequate. It emasculates them. Okay? And even though they want to pretend it doesn't matter, it is true. They don't want to take accountability for how this makes them feel. And let me tell you, you're going to have to just grow up and realize that as a woman that's making big money, you might end up being single because there's not a whole lot of men out there that are making enough money to be able to feel like a man in your presence. Period. So you're going to have to come to terms with that, or just settle for a man that makes less than you and deal with all of the resentment and the gaslighting and the under the table and passive aggressive statements that he might say to you simply because you run the show.
People are upset.
DJ Envy was shaking and I could not hop on this camera quick enough. So DJ Envy and Ebony K. Williams continued the conversation that she was having with Iyanla the other day, where Iyanla asked her, would you date a bus driver? And she specifically said if he owned the bus. There's been a lot of controversy about this conversation, but I have to have an intelligent conversation with y'all that I did not have yesterday. So I watched everything. I watched the Breakfast Club interview. I watched the episode of Holding Court. I watched the entire Iyanla episode. So I know exactly what happened, everything anybody would be speaking of. So this is a conversation on behalf of Ebony K. Williams about ownership. She is trying to get us to have a greater idea of ownership. She's trying to explain to y'all that it is white supremacy. It is bigotry to keep us in a place of low thinking. When you automatically think, oh, the owner, why I gotta be so good, I gotta be the owner. That is white supremacy. And here's why. You know the construct of black people are lazy even though we built America? The concept, black women just want to lay around all day and have babies even though we're literally the mother of creation? That is white supremacy. And it's rooted in the ideal that you should want nothing because you work for nothing. It's a trick of the mind. She's trying to take us out of that. When you speak of a bus owner, that could be several different things. She spoke about that on her show. That could be somebody who buys a $5,000 because when she spoke to her co-host on the show on Holding Court, Dustin Ross, they spoke about how buying a bus is only $5,000. You could buy a bus, gut it out, be creative. You can make that bus a video game place thing for kids. You can make that bus a place to take the old people down to the casino. You could make it a party bus. There's a lot of things you could do with ownership. Now, on this particular interview, she went on to explain she will not allow us to continue to thrive in mediocrity, and she's not accepting that from us, and I totally understand. She should not have to. We are great people. We invented math. Do y'all not know black people invented math? That we are greater than beyond our wildest dreams? And this mindset that we should not have the best partner we can have. We should not have enough. We should not be owners. Automatically thinking in your mind, being trained to think you don't deserve. You automatically think she should not want to deserve and you should not deserve. I wonder why that is. DJ Envy's point of view was, there were people whose feelings were hurt. Baby, your pockets are going to be hurt if you don't get some ownership. Sitting at that company for 20, 30 years, and all you get for working at Burger King is just a pin and a slap on the back. If you want that to be you, go ahead and don't own anything. I dare you. Get stuck in mediocre and average and the terminology and your hurt feelings if you want to.
I know why people mad at this. So, I've been thinking about this a lot. I made a post on IG, really meant to make a post on here, but more kept happening, and now she went on Breakfast Club today, as you see. The biggest issue with what Ebony is saying is it sounds like Kevin Samuels. I know she's not saying the exact same types of things, but the delivery is very much that. If you listen to the full episode, she very much wants to state her point and really doesn't care about how people will take it. It's very elitist. Her point of view is that, hey, black people should raise their standard of what they can do. The fact of the matter is, success is subjective. And I think that's what she doesn't.
So y'all can get stuck in mediocre.
People had a lot to say, and you people were either on team bus driver or team owner. Some of you was on the team bus driver majority. But like I said, it depends on what she wants to be with, or her upbringing. It depends on her status. Maybe she don't want to take care of the bus driver who's making less than she, and she got to foot the bill. And maybe she wants the bus owner to pamper her and stuff like that. I look at it like this. It's who you want to be with, who you choose to be with. That's all that matters at the end of the day. So, hey, it is what it is. All right. Thank you all for watching this edition of Vibes. We talk about Ebony K. Williams with her comments about she'd rather be with the bus owner than the bus driver. I've been your host, Kenny Dick, saying so long. Thank you for watching. Bye.